Hello students and welcome back for today's session. I, Miss Sheetal Gonsalves, welcome you for EVS 2, lesson number 2, History and the Concept of Time. The slides are prepared by teacher Sophia De Mello and I, Miss Sheetal Gonsalves, will be doing the explanation of the lesson 2. So let's begin with our today's lesson. Before we begin, let's have a quick revision of our previous knowledge. Yes, my dear students, your first lesson, that is lesson 1, where you studied what is history. So, history is the science that tells us about the events of past. So, whatever events had happened in past, it has been known to us by history. Now, how it has been known to us? It is known to us by making use of various methods, right? Similarly, history, that is to know the events in the past, it has been divided into 3 parts. One is the past, the present, that is whatever is going on right now, and the other is the future, that is what things will happen that will relate with the present and the past condition. Similarly, to know history or to study history, we need to know about 3 important sources. Which are those 3 sources? The 3 sources of history are material source, written source and oral sources. Similarly, history or to know the event or the incidents of the past, there are other sources also, and that source is called as archaeological source. So in archaeology, the studies of past culture with the help of the ancient remains are done. You must have studied in your first part about archaeology and archaeological excavation. So keeping this in mind, keeping this knowledge in our mind, let us proceed with our lesson 2, in which we are going to study that how history can be learned by keeping the concept of time in our mind, because time plays important role, because we have the past, the present and the future, right? To study history, the time is divided into 3 parts, the past, the present and the future. So let us understand how this time is being considered and calculated in the study of history. Well, so in today's topic, in today's chapter 2, we are going to study the first part of the topic, that is our part 2.1, division of time and the timeline, in which we are going to study 2 subtopics. The first topic is Common Era or Christian Era, and the second topic is time before the Common Era or Christian Era. So I have given a small picture over here in which you can see the human civilization or the evaluation of human being right from the ape to the human. Then you can see various structures which have been built in the past, right? Then the different symbols of the kings and the rulers who have come, right? And how the years were been divided right from the Greek and the Roman civilization till what we study in India to the Harappa civilization and so on. So these are few examples which are given. So let us begin with our first part, 2.1, division of time and the timeline, in which let us study first the subtopic Common Era or Christian Era. Well, now what is division of time and timeline, right? Now there are various methods of understanding or various methods of recognizing time, right? You all are in 5th standard, so many of you must be knowing how to read the time, right? Now it is morning period, so you can say, okay, it is 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning can also be seen as 8 a.m. a.m. means ante-meridum, the time, okay, the title which is given to read time in the morning. Similarly, when it is afternoon, when the sun is overhead, we call it as 12 noon. Similarly, when it is evening, after 12 noon, when it is evening time, after 4 o'clock, we read the time as it is 4 o'clock in the evening or 4 p.m. And has the time passed, when it is night time or when it is complete dark, we call it as a midnight, 12 midnight. Okay, so there is a difference right from sunrise till the sunset. Time is divided. So a day, one complete day, okay, it is divided for our convenience, for people convenience, to know exactly in which part of the day do we perform which activity, right? Yes, so time is continuous. Time is not going to wait for anyone. It is just going to go on. So time is continuous, and we have divided it into different periods for our convenience. Now let us understand what are these different periods. Okay, one day, that is the earth, takes one complete day to rotate around its own axis. So that rotation of the earth around its own axis takes one day. One day is made up of 24 hours, and this 24 hours of the day is divided into two parts. Now which are those two parts? 12 hours in day, that is one part, and 12 hours in night, that is the second part. You can see a picture of a clock which has been shown. So that clock is divided. Normally the clock or the watches which you have will have only 12 numbers or the 12 faces on this, right? But in all there are 24. The clock is divided into 24 parts, right? So from 1 o'clock, that is 1 a.m., that is midnight 1 a.m. you can say, from 1 o'clock 1 a.m. from midnight till afternoon 12 o'clock, 12 noon becomes one part of the day. Okay, and again from 12 noon, that is from afternoon 12 noon, the time again changes. It becomes PM, from 12 noon in the afternoon to again coming back at night. So 24 hours, that is 12 midnight, becomes another part, the second part of the day. So the day is divided into two parts, 12 hours in the morning, 12 hours at night. Okay, so when these days are taken together, so when we take 7 days together, okay, 7 days make a week. So starting from Sunday, let's take from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 7 days make a week. Similarly, when these weeks are taken together, now 2 weeks, when 2 continuous weeks we take together, we call it as a fortnight. That is a period of 15 days. Fortnight, 15 days period is called as a fortnight period or 2 weeks. When 4 weeks, that is a complete month. In a month we have 4 weeks. You can see the calendar page which I have shown to you. So in a month you have 4 weeks. So 4 weeks makes a month, and in a month either you have 30 days or 31 days. Similarly, there are 12 months in a year. So when these 12 months are taken together, we get one complete year, and one complete year is made up of 365 days or 366 days. Similarly, as these years are counted, years after years, the time changes. Now the current year which is going on is 2020. Next year you will have 2021. Next year you will have 2022. Before 2020, which was the year? 2019, right? So this years after years which are taken or which are counted together. And when you count 100 years, okay, for example, let's start from the beginning of human civilization, or from the beginning of the creation of human civilization. That was first year, that is number 1. From number 1 till 100, that is the counting all the years till 100. So from 1 to 100, 100 years make a century. Just like in a cricket match, when Sachin Tendulkar hits a century, 99 plus 1 is 100. So when he hits a century, we say, oh, Sachin Tendulkar hit a century. So 100 years make a century. And similarly, when 10 centuries are taken together, that is 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100, which is taken 10 times, it makes a millennium. Okay, so this is how the division of time is being done for the convenience of people to understand and to learn time. I hope you all are clear till here. Yes, moving further, let's understand the timeline. Now this period of time which is being used is a method, okay, and this method is a method of timeline. Now how this timeline method is being understood? Now the method of dividing time, that is the period of time which is being used right from morning, evening, afternoon and so on. This method of time, dividing the time and then calling it as a day, a week, a month, a year, a century, a millennium, this method of dividing the time is known as unilinear division of time. What it is known as? Unilinear division of time. Now, what is unilinear? Unilinear division of time means years that follow one after the another or in a serial order. For this, I have given you a simple example. Now, let's take your example. Now, your birth, okay? Your birthday, or you were born in the year, say 2009, okay? Your first birthday was celebrated in the year 2010. That is, after 1 year, you became 1 year old. So, your first birthday was celebrated in 2010. After that, the first day of your school. Normally, after 3 to 4 years, children have been sent to school. So, the first day of the school was in 2013. And then, as the school years passed, you came to standard 5th. Okay. So, the first online classes started for standard 5th in the year 2020. So, if you look at this unilinear division of time, all the events which happened in your life are in order, in sequence order. Nothing is one below the, nothing is one before or something, or first your birthday celebration is there in 2010, then your birthplace is taken. No. So, everything is in correct order. So, that is known as unilinear division of time. I hope you all are clear with this. Yes. The next part what we are going to study. What do you mean by common era or Christian era? Now, to understand this common era and Christian era, there is a timeline which is given to you. Okay. Common era is also known as CE, or it is also called as AD, that is Anno Domini, or it is known as the time when Jesus Christ, that is when the Jesus Christ, or the time which had taken place in the time of birth of Jesus Christ, or the year of our Lord. Okay. Now, how it has been divided? So, the calendar which we use today is based on the Christian era. The calendars which we have in our house is the Gregorian calendar, the English calendar. This is based on the Christian era. The first year of this Christian era is written with the number 1. That is, as I told you, the first year which started with human life started with number 1. After number 1, after completing 100 years, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay. So, after completing 100 years, from 1 to 100 becomes your 1 century, and it is written as from 1 till number 100 CE. CE stands for Common Era or Christian Era, and it is also known as Anno Domini, that is AD. So, 1 to 100 CE is equal to 1 to 100 AD. Similarly, when you complete 100 years, okay, when you complete 100 years, that is your first millennium. So, your first millennium will be written as from 1 to 1000 CE, Common Era, or 1 to 1000 AD. I hope you all are clear till here. Yes. Next, what we are going to see is Common Era before, that is before time. First was AD, Anno Domini, and now it is BC, that is before Christ. So, the period before Common Era is known as the time before Common Era or before Christ, BCE. Now, in this year, the years are counted in reverse order. Okay, in Anno Domini or in Common Era, we started from 1 to 100. Here, we will go backward from 100 to 1, backward order. So, the first century, that is before Common Era, is indicated as from 100 till 1 year. As you can see the number line which is given on the picture. So, from 100 to 1 becomes the BCE. BCE means before the birth of Jesus Christ. BCE is before Common Era, before the birth of Jesus Christ. Similarly, 1 millennium will be from 1000 to 1 will become 1 BCE. That is the millennium year. I hope you all are clear till here. Next, these are two slides which are showing you the example of before Common Era. First, you can see Vardhaman Mahavir. Okay, the Lord or the Jain people who believe in him. So, Vardhaman Mahavir, he was before Christ, before the birth of Jesus Christ. So, his year is counted as from his birth 599 BC till his date 527 BC. Similarly, Gautam Buddha, his year is counted from 563 BC to 483 BC. Okay, so with this we come to the end of our topic 1, part 1.